Friday edition of Studio 12. Tomorrow it's Texas A&M and Arkansas from Arlington, and a little dual location show coming up here for you, Matt.
We're getting fancy.
We are going to begin in the south end zone of Kyle Field with Connor McQueen and his guest of choice, who we'll introduce in just a moment. When Connor exits, after commercial break, bam, we're in Arlington.
This is fancy. Is it like a teleport machine or something?
Do you know of a radio show that can do this?
I don't. I have not done my extensive research on other radio shows.
On radio teleportation.
On radio teleportation. Maybe something to do with this.
What's this box do?
Yeah.
Is there
Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
The green screen, I know that's a thing.
Yeah, don't touch the box, or you may teleport somewhere. Who knows? Yeah. So segment one right here in College Station. Matt and I will be in Arlington for the remainder of the show after it. Again, A&M and Arkansas tomorrow night. Connor McQueen with us. And guest of choice, Matt wanted to call this Con Air because it's dueling Connors today. Connor Lanfear, offensive lineman for Texas A&M, joins us. And you get the distinguished honor of coming with Connor McQueen here today, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, you've got it.
Distinguished
What an honor.
is used very loosely in the
I feel like
term.
he's trying to butter up his O-line, don't you think? Is that what's going on here?
Hey.
If you
Some
wanted
do
to
it with
butter us
dinner.
up- yeah, I was going to say, you want to butter us up, take us out to eat.
That's
That's the best way to
That's
do
exactly what this is.
it. Little expensive.
You got to take care of
but-
those big guys up front.
So we're going to have to use full names when we ask questions today. Connor McQueen, I've got this for you. Connor Lanfear, I've got this for you. But, all right, we were also talking before you came today. We keep trying to get a name for this segment, and I think you've kiboshed a few of them, but I've got one here we're hoping it sticks. And we'll see if we can get Connor Lanfear's approval of it, too. The guest has to approve, too.
Of course.
Your name for your segment also. Last week, Christian Kirk offered up McQueen's minutes, and no, I dumped that quick. That's not all that good. We couldn't get the intern to take the minutes, so it wouldn't have been.
I mean, let's put it this way. People are just fighting Texas Aggie fans all around the country, all around the state, are starting off their weekend with this show.
That's right.
And McQueen's minutes just doesn't get them fired
That's
up.
not
We
ready.
got to get the people ready for the weekend.
That's not ready.
To C. Kirk's credit, he is the first guest to even volunteer
To even
a
contribute.
name. So you got to give him credit there.
All right. So we're going to throw this name out, and we'll need both Connors' approval if it's going to stick. My man over here, the quarterback, he's redheaded.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
That's pretty
he's,
apparent.
He's aware of that.
Yes.
So are you.
Very aware.
The red zone with Connor McQueen.
Yep.
Ooh, yeah.
Yep.
I
Winner?
I
Yep,
think
winner.
that's the
That's
winner
it.
right
That's
there.
it.
That's the winner.
All right. Seal it.
As we always have to say, there will be no sponsor due to NCAA rules, but we will now call this the red zone with Connor McQueen from here on out.
I like it.
All right, so we got a winner. And speaking of winners, you guys are 3-0. Just quickly, Connor McQueen, your thoughts on last Saturday on the Plains against Auburn. Solid win over an SEC team to get conference play started.
It really was, and you know what I enjoyed the most about that win was just, I mean, we got down early to start the game. We were down 7-0, and there wasn't that sense of panic. I mean, Christian and I actually sat here and talked about that last week, just how we were looking forward to adjusting and dealing with adversity on the sidelines and everything. And I think we did a fantastic job. I mean, there was never a sense of panic or anything like that, and we progressively got better and better as the game went on to where, I mean, in the fourth quarter we were running the ball. We were pretty much imposing our will with the run game, and, that's really what we want to do as an offense. So, I mean, I enjoyed watching it, and, of course we'd like to get some touchdowns, and, I mean, instead of me having to go out there and hold field goals, I'd much rather have to block for me on extra points rather than field goals. So, but that's where we got to get better, and it's good to have points like that to where we can have points of emphasis on during the week. So we can continue to get better and kind of hash those out earlier in the year.
And Lanfear, for you, what about your group's performance on Saturday? That defensive line you guys are going against was no joke. I mean, I think maybe people overlook it because Auburn's struggling a little bit. Those guys can play. I mean, how proud were you of your performance and your group's performance?
I was really proud of the group's performance as a whole. There's been a lot said about me, Eric, and Colton Prater, how, we're young inside and we're 3 first-time starters. And, going into a hostile environment, I think we performed pretty well. We started off a little bit shaky, but, we settled down. communicated well, and got out there and got the job done. And I had great preparation all week long. I got some great looks from our defense. Going against Kingsley Kiki, I mean, very long, powerful dude who plays very similar to number one, their defensive tackle, and just gave me great looks all week long and prepared me for that one-on-one matchup.
And Carl Lawson is the guy I think most people talk about. They have Adams on the defensive front too. Who was drawing the Lawson assignment for most of the night against Auburn?
He kind of played on both sides. He's a little bit
switched around.
Yeah. They just kind of throw him around everywhere. He's one of those guys, you have to, when you get up to the ball, you have to ID early on and figure out where he is, because he is a playmaker. And, we never want a back to block a defensive lineman out there. So he played, I'm not sure what the exact number was, but I think he played about 50-50 right and left.
Okay. And then is it almost like this week, real quickly before we move on, because they have Dietrich Wise, Arkansas does, and he's another top-flight pass rusher. I mean, this is a guy you identify immediately, isn't it?
Yeah, no, he's definitely one of those guys you keep an eye on and watch a lot of film on. We watch a lot of film every week, but he's one of those guys that needs a little bit of extra evaluation.
Going back just a little bit when you're talking about Kingsley, that's something I think we hear it from coaches and players all the time, but I think it gets overlooked. Practice and what you guys, maybe specifically as an offensive line, see every day in practice, that's an incredible benefit for you as you head into these big SEC games, isn't it?
Oh, for sure. Having guys like Miles, Day-Day, I mean, our whole defensive line, our whole defensive front, they're all very, very talented. And getting a hit against them every day, as the saying goes, iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
So,
you can even look back further past that whenever we had Vaughn here, and you look at the offensive linemen that we've put into the NFL just the last few years, going against guys like Vaughn and going against guys like Miles and Day-Day you've got Jokel, the Matthews, and then you've got Said and Jermaine this past year, to where, we're pumping guys in because, it really goes to show that, like Connor said, the iron sharpens iron, and we're going against some of the best defensive ends. And whenever Vaughn was here rushing outside linebackers in the country, to where, that really comes to fruition and pays off in the long run.
And Connor, I wanted to ask you, McQueen.
It's going to be a problem.
Yeah. We'll sort it out. I said this a lot on Wednesday. Matt and I were talking about it. Trevor Knight was 20 of 40 in this game. But when you watched it from our vantage point where we all are, he looked so much better than a 50% completion rate. Would you agree? Because I thought he made some incredible throws and did some things to avoid sacks. He was much better than 20-40 suggested.
For sure, because, that's what Coach Mazzoni said. One of the things that I kind of picked up on whenever he first got here is he said, and kind of caught me off guard at first, but always reserve the right to punt or always reserve the right to kick, to where that's just really saying be smart on third downs, don't take sacks, don't turn the ball over, don't make bad decisions, take care of the ball. And I think Trevor did that really well in this game. We didn't convert on third downs the way we wanted to, but then again, he made some great decisions, whether it's getting out of the pocket, throwing the ball away. But I think really what impressed me the most with him this week is the way that he operated the game, to where, you can look at 20 for 40 and say, that's not where we want to be completion percentage wise, but the way that he controlled the game, made his right reads, ran the ball when he needed to, because he picked up some big yards for us and made some big plays with his feet, to where that really opened up our run game for the running backs later in the game. So, I think just the way he operated and led the offense throughout the game really was the true showing of how he played.
Yeah, because I even thought some plays that go down as incompletions, Trevor put the ball there. Now Auburn can defend those. They made some good defensive plays. Couple drops by the receiving corps, but not too many. I even look back at one that goes down as an incompletion. He threw a beautiful ball to Ricky Seals-Jones in the end zone. Ricky made a fabulous catch. Oh, by the way, he's an inch out of bounds with his foot. That goes down as an incompletion, but that was well executed, as a lot of them were that may go down as an incompletion.
Yeah, and that's just where it comes down to it being a game of details and a game of inches, to where we got in the film room and we were talking, and, we said Trevor's got to put that ball a little bit more on a line, so Ricky has to just put a little bit further back in the end zone rather than a little bit more to the side, so Ricky has a little bit more room to make that catch. So we have that. If we are in that same situation this upcoming week or later in the season, 4 or 5 weeks down the road, that we're in that same situation. Trevor will make that play to where we'll get 6 points instead of 3.
Yeah, and then looking at Saturday night in Arlington, something that catches my attention about these last two games you guys played against Arkansas, they've obviously been terrific contests going overtime, is the Razorbacks want to control the ball. I mean, they want to keep it as long as they can. And against you guys the last 2 years, they have. The time of possession has heavily favored Arkansas. But is that a statistic that really concerns you guys? Are you not really worried about making sure it's even or winning that time of possession battle in a football game?
Well, we definitely have talked about the time of possession. I mean, if Arkansas's offense is on the field that many more minutes than us, they've got that much longer to attempt to score. So it's definitely been a focal point, and we're definitely wanting to win the possession game and keep our defense off the field, because the longer we're out there, the more likely we are to put points on the board.
Yeah, because at the same time, they won the time of possession, but you guys won the game.
Right.
But also both games, you were staring down the barrel of defeat in the fourth quarter. I mean, could it make it a little more comfortable if, like Connor said, you can control it a little bit more?
Yeah, and I think that kind of goes back to what our goal was at the beginning of the year. It was to be able to run the ball better and to be able to stop the run. And, I don't think necessarily being a big play offense and being an up-tempo offense, time of possession is that paramount to us, but I think it's a lot more important for our defense.
Yeah.
Because when we're playing games like that, if our defense is out on the field for, 2/3 or 3/4 of the game, they're getting tired and they're wearing down to where we're really having to exercise our depth there. And, we don't want our defense to have to be out there. I mean, I know last year, I think we ran 48 plays.
Yeah, it was.
Against Arkansas,
last
which
year,
is
time of possession
unprecedented
was
because
37-23 in favor of them. So that's a big discrepancy.
Right, and I mean, we're used to running upwards of 80 or 90 plays a game to where, we scored on a solid percentage of our plays. I can't remember what the percentage was. It was pretty impressive, but we want to be able, and I think we're going to with the way that we've been running the ball. Just to be able to establish a little bit more time of possession, keep our defense off the field, and wear their defense down a little bit more.
It's the latest edition of the Red Zone. Connor McQueen.
That's right.
Guest today, Connor Lanfear. This is Studio 12. Lanfear, I wanted to ask you about playing in an NFL stadium, just that experience. Last year the Aggies did it twice. You've got it here again. That's a pretty cool deal for you guys, isn't it? No matter, you don't really take that for granted, do you?
Oh, of course not. It's so funny. When I was a freshman in high school, I was a big A&M fan. My sister graduated from here, and I remember I got to go to the Cotton Bowl. I got tickets to the Cotton Bowl when A&M played Oklahoma, and I was sitting behind the goalpost. I can't remember which end zone it was on, but I remember looking down and watching them and just being so amazed by it and thinking, wow, that's amazing. I wish I could play out there. And then to be able to come back to that as one of those players on that field and actually playing a football game, there's no feeling like it. It's been a dream come true for me, and just playing in that stadium, it's going to be great, especially now that I'm a starter. I can't wait.
Connor, you're Houston area. The other Connor, you're from the Austin area. I don't know if either of you were Cowboys fans growing up. You a Texans fan?
I am a Texans fan, but my dad's been a big Cowboys fan his whole life, and I guess before the Texans came around, I still was alive before the Texans were a thing. And, I was a Cowboys fan. Even, early on in the Texans days, I was still a Cowboys fan for a little while just, because I cheered for them my whole life. But, I've slowly gravitated a little bit more to the Houston teams now.
Yeah. Lanfear, any Cowboy affection for you? Or?
I just like all Texas teams, to be honest with you. Growing up, I didn't watch a ton of pro ball. College ball was always kind of my main focus. But if I have to choose between the two, I'm going to go ahead and say the Cowboys.
Okay. All right.
Now, lineman's dream, of course, is to score a touchdown. Do you have in your head sort of a celebration or something you would do if you looked down and saw a football and picked it up and ran it in?
Oh, man.
Or fell on top of a ball in the end zone?
I've thought about it before, but to be completely honest with you, if that ever happened, I'd probably faint, black out.
That's a pretty good
Oh, yeah, no,
I
just pass out in the end zone.
That would make sports sense.
I will say, because Coda Martin fell on a fumble last year and scored a touchdown.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I was talking to him because he played a lot in the Prairie View A&M game as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say that he told me he found it more fun and was more excited for this year against Prairie View A&M on the last touchdown of the game where Kwame scored, and he's stumbling and falling down at about the 2, and Coda's down there picking up a block, grabs Kwame's upper body and holds him up and pulls him into the end zone before Kwame's knee can touch the ground. And he was more fired up about that, about the assist / carrying his man into the end zone than actually scoring. But, I mean, that's also a tribute to who Coda is. But, I mean, I thought that was pretty interesting, you know. The lineman's dream, and it got surpassed by, you know, carrying another guy in there.
You got a ways to catch Coda then, because that's 1 touchdown, 1 assist. I mean,
I don't know how the assist counts in there. But
I don't know if it's in the box score.
Started
We'll
stat.
count it
It's
on
it's
this show.
Good job, man.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Well played. Well played.
Good hustle, buddy.
Exactly. But just the way this team's coming together after 3 games. Y'all's thoughts, because, I mean, you play so tight with UCLA, pull it out. Had the easy victory over Prairie View, but then it's on the road, it's hostile, it's 16-10 for a lot of the second half. I mean, pulled that one out too. Just both of your thoughts on the way this team is coming together, although the sample size is still just 3 contests.
I mean, I'm really loving it. The offensive line specifically, our room, it feels like a family. You know, we were tight last year and everything. The group was tight knit, but this year, I mean, it doesn't matter if you're a walk-on, how many years you've been here. Everyone is close in there. There's no, you know, there's no separation. We're all a really close-knit group, and you know, the offense as a whole. You know, love playing alongside all those guys. I've had a great time, you know, protecting Trevor in the backfield this year. I'd take him over anyone else in the country. He's a real good motivator, knows how to motivate everyone else specifically. Actually, we're down on the goal line against UCLA, and you know, it's been a long drive, and he looks at me dead in my eyes, and he's like, you know, we're kind of panting hard, and he goes, "All right, Lanfear, think of this like you're at the ranch and you're hauling hay, and it's at the end of the day, and you got to finish the day's work." It's like, all right, I get it. I got it.
I relate to you.
I understand now.
And you scored.
Oh, yeah.
You scored.
And we
That's
scored.
good.
But, no, it's been great playing alongside all these guys, and it's been a really fun year so far. And, you know, there's going to be a lot of other big, great events going on this year, and I'm looking forward to them.
Well, the tight-knit you were talking about as a team, and specifically your room, but as a team. And, Connor, we saw it on the Pulse this week. The comments and mental check from guys like Trevor Knight, like Myles Garrett, like these guys. I mean, it commands the attention in the room. Everyone's together. Everyone's focused on that ultimate goal.
Right, and I think that's really something that, I mean, not necessarily only Trevor, but something that Trevor has really brought to this team, and then that's something that he's a big proponent of. And, you know, I think with him stepping up into that leadership role and, you know, getting the starting job and performing well these first few weeks, that, I mean, I think that's something that's going to continue to grow. And I think a lot of the young guys are taking notice of that, and I'm excited for not only this year but where this program is going to head in the future because of that. And, I mean, going back to Will's question just about how we're feeling as a team going forward, I mean, I think from an experience standpoint, I mean, I guess being the older guy, I'm glad that we've gotten some of these closer games. We've already had these closer games at the beginning of the year to where, you know, wherever we're 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games down the road, we're not seeing these situations for the first time. We've already been in overtime. We've already had to fight on the road against an SEC opponent to where, you know, I mean, we felt in control of that game because we were moving the ball so well, but we realized that, you know, that could have gotten out of hand if we weren't making those field goals. But I knew it seems to add the emphasis that we need to score touchdowns in the red zone to where, I mean, I think that there's a lot of excitement, not necessarily just in the offense, on the offensive meeting rooms, but I mean just throughout the team because the defense is playing so well right now. You know, I mean, it looks like right now sky's the limit, and we're looking forward to going forward.
I have to ask Lanfear before he leaves. You ever heard of the now broken up old school College Station band, only in vowels?
Oh, man. Wow, I was not expecting that one. Yeah.
Hit him with one.
Yeah, I have heard of them, actually.
Yeah. You have like a relative
I am
or
so
something.
confused
Yeah.
right now.
I'll
about
explain.
what is
Will
happening.
shall explain.
Don't worry, some light will be
Just
shed on it
gonna
in just a
take-
minute. Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, my sister, you know, she came to school out here, and she started working at Freebirds, and she met her husband, and now the father of 2 children out here, and he was a rock guitarist in the band Only in Vowels, and His name's James Stanislaw. Me and him are really, really close. He's more of a brother to me than a brother-in-law. But, yeah, that's so funny, man. That was the last thing I was expecting y'all to ask.
Do you know Buddy Kimberlin, who works here?
Yeah.
He was the lead vocalist.
I'm aware.
I have one of the only in Val's T-shirts ever in existence.
Still have mine.
I have one. There's two we found.
We found two. There's the light that we're shedding.
There's the
connection.
explanation. Now defunct. I think they all realized they got old at some point and couldn't do it anymore.
That's why he's the best in the business right here. It's that investigative journalism right here.
I didn't have to go. All I had to do was go across the hall to pick up that one because Buddy tipped me off. And I used to go to a few Only in Val's concerts back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
So
oh man,
the old Zapatos.
Oh yeah, no, I was there. I went to a couple as well. And this is the most important thing about Saturday's game. Reason why we got to win this game. Buddy's mustache lives on if the Aggies win.
Yeah.
And that thing is salty right now.
It's gonna
be.
Things are catching on.
We're gonna need to throw some more salt on it then.
Yeah.
If you guys keep winning and Buddy keeps growing it, he'll catch up to Myles Garrett in that competition at some point on the
Well, yeah, Niederhofer's got to be regretting his decision because that thing would be looking fantastic right now.
Oh, I know. He'd have a dirty little caterpillar growing up there. He threw in the towel.
Yeah.
Lanfear, we're trying to encourage this one to grow one, but he just refuses to do it.
You got to hop on board, man.
No.
You got to.
Nope.
I've never seen a red mustache before.
I mean,
be a first-time deal.
Yeah. No, I don't think it's in the cards, man.
It's not right.
I just think that I would just
time.
be, almost nearly emasculating myself in terms of looking at the facial hair that you've got going on right here. Yeah, full-grown man.
Shaved 3 days ago.
I'm a boy. I shaved in May.
Well, good stuff, gentlemen. We'll be up there with you Saturday. All the best against the Arkansas Razorbacks. Thanks for the time, fellas.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys.